Hey everyone, today is Thursday, August 22nd. I'm here at the City Fam offices making my vlog. I actually missed it last week, so got some catching up to do, and I'm just gonna jump right in. So, been feeling good lately, really getting back to my normal happy self. I was talking to my therapist slash psychologist this morning about it, and she was asking how I was doing. I was telling her, I'm like, I was up at 3:45 this morning. I was in the gym early, did my routine, going to bed early. Just feel a lot better, a lot lighter than I was feeling before. I was feeling really heavy, really depressed. Went through a kind of a long season of it, and it was debilitating. And she was asking me what I attributed it to, and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, it's been a variety of things. It's definitely been the self-care that I've been doing. I haven't been working as late. I've been leaving at like 5, 6 o'clock, spending more regular time with my family, with my friends, going out to dinner. My financial situation has improved a little bit, which makes it easier because then you have money to go out and have dinner with your friends, and you're not like trying to make it to the next check. So that's helped. But just not being like working myself to death, probably not redlining like I had for a long time. And I think that going away to Romania helped. I think going to Landmark Forum, doing the regular sessions with the psychologist, just all of it is kind of combined, and has really helped me snap out of this funk that I was in, and I'm feeling pretty good. But depression is real, like it's no joke. I hadn't really had a lot of experience with it before this bout, and it was just it was hard. It was hard to manage just life. It made me very selfish, to be honest. I felt very withdrawn. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to have conversations with people. I didn't really want to do the things that I knew I needed to do to get out of it, meaning like go to the gym. It was harder to go to the gym. It was harder to volunteer. It was harder just to work. All the things that I had in my routine that had kind of got me to the point where I was at now, that helped me become this better version of myself. Everything was harder to do. I wanted to literally just kind of like lay there and crawl into a ball most mornings and just, get into my flesh, feel sorry for myself, drink, whatever, anything, just something, anything but the hard stuff, the work that I knew was required to get me out of it. So, there was even a point where I had kind of thought to myself, like, maybe the damage is irreversible. Like, am I ever gonna snap back to being happy again, to being like, the way that I was? And it feels that way in the moment, like maybe not, but I feel like I'm getting back, so it's good. I kind of, what led me to that place, I wanted to talk about that was, I worked without margin for a long time. I was putting in a lot of hours. I don't know, 70 or 80 hours a week, I'd probably say. Thanks, Jordan. And yes, he is. And I just ran myself into the dirt. It was such an important, what I'm doing and what I'm involved in with City Fam and the book and everything is so important that I just worked myself into the dirt and redlined it for so long. And honestly, when I wasn't getting the results, when I put everything on hold. And I really want people to understand what I put on hold. Like, I'm talking about everything. Like, I put making money on hold, my finances. I put my relationship status on hold. I haven't dated in, basically 7.5 years or really had sex with any regularity outside of 2 mistakes. But I put everything on hold, just my life, and when the results didn't come, then I started to lose hope. Right? Like I can't work any harder. Like, I literally gave it everything. I mean, I don't even get up. Like, if I get up from my desk to get a coffee, I take a piss while I'm up because I don't want to have to, even if I don't really have to go. I'm sorry, that's a little probably TMI for people, but literally there's no margin in my life. I keep I don't waste even minutes usually. Like, taking cold showers in the morning, just anything and everything you could possibly think of to give myself a chance of success at this. And when the results don't come, man, it hurts. It's really painful. And that's really kind of what happened. So now I'm in a place where I've surrendered it to God, where I'm like, okay, this is too big for me. Obviously, this isn't even my idea. And, I've just kind of given it to him, where I said, there's a verse I think of, it says, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that in due time he might lift you up. And that's what I've done, is I've just kind of humbled myself and said, okay, if this is going to be, it's not going to be me, it's got to be you. So I've just kind of took the pressure off myself to make it happen. I mean, I'm still doing the work. I'm still showing up every day, putting in the hours, but the results I'm kind of leaving up to him, if that makes sense. So, and I do think that there's something. I was watching, I don't know if I think I was reading something on social media, actually, a friend of mine, and she was talking about wrestling with God. There's this passage in the Bible where Jacob, in the Old Testament, where he wrestled with God, and he said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me, right? And it was like kind of audacious when you think about it, right? But that's what it feels like, man. Like what I'm going through, and what I'm still going through on some level, is I'm just not willing to let go. Like God, he's gonna bless me or I'm gonna die probably trying, but I'm not gonna let go. I'm not gonna quit. And to me, quitting would look like going out and saying, okay, taking a job that I'm, just making money that I'm not passionate about. I do work a little bit in order to pay the bills, but it's as little as possible to give everything as possible to this vision, to this dream. But if I was to go out, I could go out and get a job. I could go promote again. I could manage a club. I could do anything. I mean, I could, manage a restaurant, whatever, something to make money, which would make my life a lot easier. Having money would make my life a lot easier. And it would be something I know I could do successfully. When you're working hard and it's not successful, that sucks, like it makes you just feel inadequate and incompetent and stupid. And, but, or I could go out and date, which God hasn't given me the green light on that either, yet. I haven't met anybody that he said yes yet. So, and that would make my life a lot easier too, to be honest, because sometimes it'd just be nice to have somebody there to, pat you on the head and say everything's going to be okay, or just to go kick it with, go out to eat with, or, like it would be nice. I miss it, and I look forward to having it again, but I'm not willing to settle. You know what I mean? There's a verse in the Bible, not verses, there's a part of the Bible where the Israelites were leaving Egypt, and they were enslaved there. They were slaves, and they were on their way to the promised land, this place, this better place that God told them about, that he wanted to take them to. And they got out into the desert, and a lot of them were like bitching to Moses, saying, hey, let's go back to Egypt. At least we had certain kinds of food there. Out here we don't even have that food. And I'm like, man, that's really, I see why people go back, because the wilderness is hard, man. It's difficult. It's not for the faint-hearted at all. Like, you got to be strong. It makes you a stronger person as you go through it. But I honestly believe, like, I think back to the Israelites, like when they got to the promised land, they had to be like, oh my God, like, holy shit, this is way better than we thought it was going to be. Wow, that was so worth it. Like, that's what I keep believing is going to happen if I stick with it, that sometime I'm going to look around and I'm going to be like, wow, that was really worth it. Yeah, it was painful, but man, this is even better than I thought it was going to be. And that's what I just keep believing, that, and the worst thing would be to quit. And I'd always have that thought in the back of my head going, what if you would have continued a little longer, and I don't ever want to feel that. So even though it's hard, it's getting easier, to be honest. It's continuing to get better. Like, I'm starting to travel and get paid to speak, and the book's still kind of not really selling much, but or not fast. The sales kind of trickle in. I think I sold 6 books about like a week ago. I think one day I had a 6-book sale, which was pretty good. But things are happening, and it's like being patient and waiting for the breakthrough, and continuing to follow the routine, go to bed early, get up early, spend time with God, keep him in first place, don't get distracted, work out, life coach, go to therapy, work really hard, go to bed, do it all again, go to church on Sunday, volunteer. I post my routine because I'm a big believer in routine. But that's the challenge. The challenge is doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and just keep doing it. That's what you have to do in order to get there. And anyway, I did this thing called the Save Single Summit a couple weeks ago, and I was on a panel with some people. One guy was named Dr. David Tooley, maybe. I don't remember his last name. I apologize. I think it might be Tooley. Anyway, he was talking about how he used to be he was a pastor now, and he's married, but he used to be a sex addict. And he was talking about how God told him that he needed to be abstinent. He told him for a couple years before the guy listened, but he said, look, basically, if you don't become abstinent, I'm not going to tell you who your soulmate is. And I shared with him. I actually shared it when I was talking in front of the room, and I said there's a verse in the Bible that talks about this, and it proves exactly what you're saying. Where there was this story, and I write about it in Why Waiting Works, where there was a story in the Old Testament where there was two brothers, Jacob, and that was the guy that wrestled with God actually, and Esau. And Esau was the older brother, and the older brother always had the birthright back then. He was the one that got like a double portion of the blessing, right? Like a double portion, from the inheritance or whatever. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, one day Esau, the older brother, comes in, and Jacob is in there cooking, right? He's making some stew, and Esau is like, hey, give me a bowl of that stew. And Jacob was like, sure, I'll give it to you, but give me your birthright. And then Esau, go ahead. He's like, okay. He's like, I'm starving to death. If I die, it won't do me any good anyway. He takes the stew and gives him his birthright. So in the New Testament, there's a verse. It talks about sexual immorality, being sexually immoral, and it says, "Let no one among you be sexually immoral or godless like Esau, who traded his birthright for a bowl of stew." And I remember a long time ago when I first read it, I was like, why in the hell would they be talking about sexual immorality in the story of Jacob and Esau? Because what does that got to do with anything? But when I thought about it, I was like, it made sense, because Esau had this birthright. This was something permanent that would have lasted him and blessed him his whole life. But he traded it for something temporary that only satisfied him temporary. And I told the guy, I said, isn't that what we do when we sin sexually? We trade our birthright, our soulmate, for a bowl of stew, a piece of ass. And guess what? In a few hours, you get hungry again, and now you got to find another bowl of stew. And it's never going to satisfy you long term. But a soulmate does, right? At least that's what I believe. Again, this is coming from someone that's never been in love. But I believe that's true. When you fall in love with somebody, you find that perfect person that was created for you, that they do satisfy you long term. It's that perfect bowl of stew created just for you. So I shared it with him, and he was really like, wow, he was kind of blown away about that insight. And I don't know, I just thought it was a cool thing that I wanted to share with you guys. So what have we been working on lately? So one of the things, we kind of identified our primary challenge at CityFam, and the thing that we've really put our finger on is fundraising. That's been the biggest challenge up until now, is putting gas in the tank, raising money to make this thing go further. So what we're really working on now is trying to get a fundraising committee together. We have some people that are interested. Actually, the woman that booked me to go to Romania is starting her own nonprofit over there. It's called an NGO in Europe, a non-government organization, I think. And she is coming here tomorrow to the country, first time ever visiting, to take a fundraising course in Washington, D.C. that she's paying for. And she's going to meet with our fundraising team next Friday, and she's going to teach us how to raise money. And I'm excited about it because we have some sharp people that have agreed to help us, and they're going to learn how to do it. And I'm hoping that that they're going to be successful and that we'll be able to raise some money. So if anyone out there is watching actually, and you have experience raising money or working with a nonprofit and you'd like to help a great cause, I would love to talk to you. You could just drop me an inbox message, or you can email me at rob@cityfam.com. I would love to meet you, or at least have a conversation with you. So we have a service event this Saturday. Today is actually the last chance to sign up. If you'd like to volunteer with CityFam, I actually put a link in this post. We're going to be at Be More Scrap. We're going to be helping them with some moving some stuff. We're going to be helping them with some arts and crafts, doing some arts and crafts. And then we're also going to be at Movable Feast on the same time, which is a great organization. We'll be prepping meals for people that are living below the poverty line with life-threatening diseases. Basically, people are dying of things like cancer and AIDS, and they live below the poverty line, and they deliver the food to them. So they have volunteers come in and make it in their kitchen, which is over here in Baltimore. So if you're looking for an opportunity to give back, this is a good one. You can sign up right now, and the link will close at midnight. What else? We have a Renegade. Our next Renegade is going to be on Friday, September 6th. It'll be on the Avenue at this new pizza place up there. Medici, I think is the name of it. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but we'll be there. We'll have a competition. It should be a great night to just be outside and hang out with some good people. We are also looking for volunteers for the Seafood Festival on September 14th. So if you'd like to volunteer with CityFam, we get a donation for providing volunteers, and it'll just be you actually get stuff too. I think you get some tickets to get some food, and you get into the event for free. So it's kind of a win-win. Would love to meet you and know about you. Also, we are volunteering at the Ravens games. We are pouring beers there. If you'd like to volunteer with CityFam to do that, you get to keep your tips as a volunteer. And I think that sometimes they give us some nice swag, some nice hats and things like that. So you can drop me a message if you'd like to volunteer with CityFam at the Ravens games, typically on Sundays. And yeah, that's that. I actually go back to Romania on September 23rd. I'm going back there for a month, from September 23rd to October 23rd. We have 17 events in 16 counties. So I'll be speaking, got a bunch of different schools over there talking about sex, talking about waiting. Romania is a very religious country. It's a Orthodox, Romanian Orthodox is like the religion over there. It's so very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not devout, but maybe it's devout. So the people over there are very religious, but it's got a very high abortion rate. Romania does, one of the highest in Europe actually. So the people with the pro-life movement are bringing me over to speak and talk about sex and waiting and break it down practically so that they can understand the benefit. And I'm excited about it. I'm also excited that I'm going to be going to a place called Mount Athos for the first week that I get there. So Mount Athos is in Greece. It's the spiritual capital of the Orthodox religion. So supposedly, I watched a 60-minute special on it, and they said it's like the holiest place on earth. There's been people there praying nonstop for over 1,000 years. There hasn't been a woman on the mountain for 1,000 years. Women aren't allowed on it. There are only 10 non-Orthodox visitors, men, are allowed per day, get a pass to visit the monastery there per day. And I'm going to be going there for a week. So I don't know, it's pretty cool. I don't know what to expect. I mean, they don't talk, they eat twice a day, and they don't talk. And not to say that I can't talk, but I've made it a video before. I'm just keep saying yes, because I don't really know what God's doing, and maybe I'll meet somebody there. Maybe I'll have some kind of experience. I don't know. I don't plan to become Orthodox. I don't plan to become a monk at all. That's a lifetime vow of celibacy, by the way. But I am saying yes because, it's just some crazy doors are opening for me. So I'm just continuing to walk through them and see what God has behind them. So I'm excited about it. And then I come back October 23rd, and right away I'm going to be joining Stéphane Labossiere at 3 of his events, October 25th in Philly, October 26th in Pittsburgh, and October 27th in Washington, D.C. So if you live in any of those places, my plan is I have to drive from each city to the next. So I'll be driving in the morning. I'll get into the city probably about 1 o'clock. I'm looking forward to or looking to meet with people that are potential City Fam leaders or members, maybe people that are on the City Fam Why Waiting Works map. To meet with them. We'll probably do a get together at a restaurant or whatever, talk vision a little bit about what it would look like to bring City Fam to their city. And then I may meet with some local media if given the opportunity. So maybe like a news or a radio show to talk about the book, talk about the event, talk about City Fam. I just want to create some buzz. And then I'll do the event with Stefan, and then I'll go to bed, and I'll go drive to the next city in the morning. And I plan to do that for those 3 cities, and hopefully if those 3 go well, I'll join Stefan at 4 more, and those other 4 cities will be Houston, Dallas, New York, and Baltimore. So if everything goes well, that's the plan. But again, God's opening doors. I'm continuing to knock on doors, sending a media kit out, trying to create buzz, trying to start a worldwide movement. That's the plan, right? I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and he's like, man, he goes, you didn't pick something easy. And I was like, dude, I know, but it wasn't my idea. None of this is my idea. This is God's idea. And I just, it ain't easy, but it's his plan, and I can't let go. I can't let go of it. Even if I wanted to, it would drive me crazy if I stopped, because I'd always be wondering, what if I didn't quit? So anyway, that's it, guys. Appreciate y'all. Lots of info in this one, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.